The snow fell harder than anyone expected that morning in Cedar Falls. The weather forecasters had promised light flurries. Nothing serious, certainly nothing to worry about. They were wrong. By 8 a.m., the storm had transformed the city into something unrecognizable, white, hostile, and dangerous. Ethan Cole had exactly 40 minutes to make it to the most important interview of his life. One offer, one chance, one step away from stability. Then he saw her, a woman slipping on ice, a truck skidding toward her through blinding snow, brakes useless on the frozen road. Ethan didn't think. He ran. Minutes later, he was soaked, late, and certain he had just destroyed his only opportunity. He had no idea the woman he saved would be waiting for him upstairs. Winter pressure. Ethan Cole woke at 5:47 a.m. to a freezing bedroom. The heater had shut off again. Frost traced the windows. The third notice from the heating company sat on his dresser, final warning in red ink. Numbers were numbers, and his were all negative. Nora appeared in the doorway at 6, wrapped in 2 blankets like a small, determined cocoon. 8 years old, already too observant for her own good. She could see through his carefully constructed optimism, the way she could see through a frosted window. If you looked hard enough, the truth was always there. "Dad, it's cold." The simple statement carried more weight than accusation. It was just fact, observable reality. He pulled her close, wrapping his arms around her blankets. "I know, sweetheart. I'll fix it." The promise felt hollow even as he spoke it. He always said that, always promised, always tried to be the dad who could solve everything with determination and will. She believed him completely, unconditionally, which made it so much worse. Her faith in him was both his greatest strength and his deepest fear. By 7:30, Nora was on the school bus. Ethan stood before the bathroom mirror, adjusting his 5-year-old suit. The interview at Frostline Logistics was at 9:30. Operations analyst, the job that could finally pull them out of this hole. He'd spent 3 nights preparing a presentation on winter route optimization. Charts, graphs, recommendations. His ticket to stability. Outside, snow was already falling harder than forecast. Not gentle flurries, the heavy, aggressive kind that erased roads and stranded cars. He checked his watch. 8:15. 20 minutes to Frostline on a good day. With snow, maybe 30. He grabbed his folder and stepped into the storm. The cold hit like a wall. Wind tore at his coat. His 15-year-old sedan sat buried under 3 inches of powder, brakes questionable at best. But he had time. Barely. The moral test. His wipers fought a losing battle. Visibility was 30 feet, maybe less. Every car crawled forward at 15 miles per hour. Hazard lights blinking desperate warnings. 8:40. Still okay. Tight, but okay. Then the truck appeared. A delivery truck, 2 cars ahead, hit black ice. Ethan watched it slide, almost graceful, then violent as the driver overcorrected. The truck spun across the center line into oncoming traffic. Everyone stopped, but Ethan saw something else. A woman standing in the middle of the road, checking her stalled car at the worst possible moment. The truck was sliding directly toward her. She saw it. Froze. 30 feet away. No time to stop. 3 seconds before impact. Ethan didn't think about the interview, his daughter, his future. He ran. His dress shoes hit ice and nearly sent him sprawling. He caught himself, pushed forward, grabbed her around the waist and yanked her backward with everything he had. They went down hard on frozen asphalt. His shoulder slammed the curb. Pain shot through his arm. The truck missed them by inches, sliding into a snowbank. Silence afterward. Just wind and snow and Ethan's hammering heart. The woman gasped beneath him. "Oh my God, you saved my life." Ethan rolled off, checking for injuries. "Are you hurt?" "No. I'm you, just..." She was maybe 40. Sharp features, expensive glasses hanging askew, dark wool coat already soaked through. Then Ethan looked down. His suit was destroyed, soaked, covered in slush. His folder lay 15 feet away, pages scattered like wounded birds. His watch said 8:54. 12 minutes. No, 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 no. I need to. He scrambled up, collecting ruined pages. Wait, the woman grabbed his arm. At least let me get your name. I need to thank you properly. It's fine. Really. I'm Claire Whitman. You just saved my life. Ethan barely heard. The math was impossible now. 36 minutes to interview, 20-minute drive in good weather, 40 in this. No time to change. Could he show up soaked? No. But what choice did he have? Ethan Cole, he said quickly, helping her up. Are you sure you're okay? I'm fine. Better than fine, thanks to you. Other drivers had stopped. Someone was calling police. Ethan couldn't stay. Every second was the difference between late and catastrophically late. I really have to go. I'm sorry. He ran back to his car before she could respond. The drive took 43 minutes. Lost opportunity. The Frostline Logistics building was all glass and steel. Ethan pulled into the parking lot at 9:48 a.m., 18 minutes late, looking like he'd been pulled from a frozen river. His reflection in the glass told the story, hair plastered down, suit soaked, tie askew. A man who'd lost everything. The lobby was aggressively warm. His wet clothes steamed. A receptionist's professional smile faltered. I'm here for an interview. 9:30. Ethan Cole. She glanced at her computer. You're late. I know. There was an accident. I'll check with HR. A man in his 50s emerged. Gray suit, clipboard, the universal look of bad news. Mr. Cole? I'm Robert Chen, HR Director. I'm afraid we've already moved forward with another candidate. The words landed like physical blows. We had 3 candidates scheduled. The position requires punctuality and reliability. I'm sure you understand. Ethan could have explained. The woman. The truck. The split-second decision between someone's life and his own future. But what was the point? It would sound like an excuse. I understand, he said quietly. We appreciate you coming in. We'll keep your resume on file. The polite corporate brush-off. Thank you for playing. This had been it, his shot. Now he'd have to tell Nora Daddy didn't get the job. Figure out the heating bill, the rent, everything. His hand was on the lobby door when he heard it, the elevator opening with a soft chime. Ethan Cole? Ethan turned. The CEO reveal. The woman from the road stood in the elevator doorway, but transformed. Her snow-covered coat replaced by a tailored charcoal suit. Hair pulled back in a neat bun. Glasses straight. 3 people in business attire waited behind her. Recognition hit them both simultaneously. You, she said softly. Chen looked between them, confused. Miss Whitman, do you know this candidate? Miss Whitman. Claire Whitman, CEO of Frostline Logistics, featured in business magazines, turned the company around after the recession. He'd saved the CEO's life and shown up late to his interview. This man, Claire said, walking toward him, pulled me out of the path of a sliding truck 45 minutes ago. That's why he's late. That's why he looks like he swam here. Chen's expression changed. I see. You didn't mention that, Claire said to Ethan. Not an accusation. An observation. Ethan shrugged. It wasn't relevant to my qualifications. She studied him. The lobby had gone quiet. You chose a stranger over your future. You had to know arriving late would cost you this job. But you stopped anyway. You didn't even hesitate. I didn't think about it. Exactly. She turned to her team. Cancel my next 2 meetings. Clear conference room B. But Miss Whitman, we've already offered the position to put that offer on hold. I want to hear what he has to say. An older man in an expensive suit stepped forward. "Claire, with all due respect, this is highly irregular. We have protocols. Daniel, when you own the company, you can set the protocols. Until then, I'd appreciate your cooperation." Daniel Mercer, VP of Operations. 20 years with the company. Old guard. "This is emotional decision-making," he said. "Not business." "This is judgment," Claire corrected. "Something I value more than punctuality." 5th floor, conference room B, 10 minutes to dry off. Then we talk. She walked to the elevator. Her team followed, though Daniel shot Ethan a look that promised nothing good. 10 minutes later, Ethan stepped into conference room B, second chance. The conference room overlooked the city through floor-to-ceiling windows. Snow fell steadily outside. 5 people sat on one side of the table, Claire Whitman in the center, Chen to her left, Daniel Mercer to her right, expression carefully blank. 2 others, a younger woman with a tablet, and a middle-aged man in shirt sleeves. 1 chair sat empty across from them. "Mr. Cole, please." Claire gestured to the chair. Ethan sat. His damp suit squeaked against leather. He placed his water-damaged folder on the table. "I apologize for my appearance." "Don't. Tell me what you brought in that folder." Before it got wet, Ethan opened it carefully. Pages stuck together, ink running. Most charts illegible. But he remembered. 3 nights building this. Winter route optimization. I analyzed your publicly available shipping data from the last 5 years. You lose an average of 18% efficiency during winter months. Most concentrates in a 3-week window around the holidays. The woman with the tablet was typing. Daniel's expression shifted toward irritation. "The primary issue," Ethan continued, "is reactive rather than proactive planning. Your routes adjust to weather after it happens, not before. But weather patterns are predictable. 5-day forecasts are 85% accurate. You could pre-position resources and reroute shipments before storms hit. We have weather monitoring," Daniel said, "built into our logistics software." "You do," Ethan agreed. "But it's not integrated with route planning. Drivers don't see forecast data when planning runs. They see it when already on the road. By then, it's too late." Claire was watching intently. "If you integrated weather forecasting directly into route planning, if drivers could see predicted conditions 48 hours out, they could adjust before leaving the depot. Avoid routes that will ice over. Prioritize deliveries that might get snowed in. Move cargo to regional hubs ahead of storms." The IT guy was nodding. "That's actually brilliant. It's also expensive," Daniel cut in. "Integrating systems like that would require significant development. Testing, training, months of implementation. You're losing 18% efficiency," Ethan said calmly. 4 months a year. If implementation takes 6 months but saves you even half that loss, it pays for itself in the first winter." Silence. Claire tapped her pen. "What else?" "Driver training, not technical training, psychological. Winter driving is stressful. Accidents spike not just because of ice, but because drivers make bad decisions under pressure. A 3-hour course on stress management could reduce accident rates 10 to 15%. "Has anyone tested that?" the younger woman asked. "Nordic countries. Norway, Sweden, Finland. Accident rates in commercial driving dropped 22% after implementing psychological safety training." Claire was smiling. "Where did you learn all this?" "Library. And I've been driving in winter my whole life." "You learn what works. Tell me about your background." 9 years in distribution. Started as warehouse associate. Worked up to logistics coordinator. Managed routing for 40 drivers across 3 states. "Why did you leave?" Ethan met her eyes. "I didn't. They closed the facility. Restructuring. 200 people laid off right before the holidays. I'm sorry." Claire said, sounding sincere. It happens, but I know logistics, I know winter operations, and I know how to solve problems before they become crises. Daniel cleared his throat. Mess. Whitman, if I could speak with you privately. Not necessary, Daniel. Mr. Cole, would you step outside for a moment? Ethan walked into the hallway. Through glass walls, he could see them debating, Daniel gesturing emphatically. Claire listening, arms crossed. The IT guy still nodding. 3 minutes passed. 5. The door opened. Come back in. Everyone was watching him. Even Daniel, though carefully neutral. We'd like to offer you a trial period, Claire said. 30 days. You'll work directly with operations, reporting to me. Focus on winter logistics optimization, exactly what you outlined. If it works, we transition you to permanent operations analyst. Ethan's heart hammered. I accept. Don't you want to know the salary? She was smiling. I trust it's fair. It is. She slid a paper across. The number was more than his previous job, significantly more. Robert will handle paperwork. You start Monday. And Mr. Cole? Thank you for this morning, truly. He shook her hand. Thank you for the second chance. This isn't charity. I don't make business decisions based on sentiment. You have good ideas. Let's see if you can execute them. But as Ethan left, he caught something in her expression. Something that suggested maybe it was a little bit of both, first days and hidden enemies. Monday morning arrived cold and clear. The storm had passed, leaving Cedar Falls buried under 8 inches of snow. Frostline's operations floor was organized chaos. 50 workstations, multiple screens showing real-time truck tracking, radio chatter from drivers. The pulse of a company that never stopped moving. Daniel Mercer met him at the entrance. Mr. Cole, I'll be showing you around. Claire wanted me to get you oriented personally. Something in his tone suggested Claire had insisted. Not exactly warm, Daniel led him through the floor, introducing team leads with bare minimum enthusiasm. This is Ethan Cole, trial hire, working on winter logistics. People nodded, made polite small talk. Went back to work. New guy brought in by the CEO. Probably connected. Probably incompetent. He'd have to prove them wrong. Daniel deposited him at a corner desk. Current routing software on this terminal. Weather monitoring on this one. If you need anything else, submit a request through IT. He paused, leaned in. Let me be frank. I've been doing this 20 years. Most trial hires don't make it past 2 weeks. Claire, giving you this opportunity doesn't mean you've earned it. It means you have 30 days to prove you deserve it. Understood. I hope so. Welcome to Frostline. The first week was brutal. 12 hours a day, analyzing data, learning systems, mapping routes, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., sometimes later. The heating bill at home was paid. Rent covered, but Nora was eating dinner alone most nights, homework supervised via video call. It's temporary, he told her. Just until I get established. She said she understood. But he could see the loneliness in her eyes. By week 2, Ethan had identified the problem. Frostline's routing system was good, sophisticated, but it wasn't talking to the weather system. Drivers planned routes based on current conditions, not forecasts. Reactive. Inefficient. Exactly what he'd predicted. But there was something else. Something worse. The weather monitoring system had gaps, big ones. Certain regions weren't being tracked properly. Data for northern routes most vulnerable to winter storms was pulling from outdated stations. Some hadn't been updated in months. Drivers were making decisions based on bad information. Ethan pulled maintenance logs. The weather system was managed by operations, by Daniel's team. Service contracts showed regular maintenance was supposed to happen quarterly. This was bad. Not just inefficient, dangerous. He wrote a report, documented everything, recommendations, cost estimates, timeline. Sent it to Daniel first, professional courtesy. Response came within an hour. Your concerns are noted. Will address in the next budget cycle. 6 months away. By then, winter would be over. Ethan forwarded the report to Claire. 20 minutes later, his phone rang. My office. Now. Claire's voice was tight, focused. Pressure and sabotage. Claire's office overlooked the city, all glass and clean lines. She stood by the window, arms crossed. Walk me through this. Ethan did. Data gaps, maintenance delays, potential risks. We have 3 major storms predicted in the next 2 weeks. If our weather data is wrong, we could have drivers on roads they shouldn't be on. At best, we lose time and money. At worst, someone gets hurt. Claire's expression was grim. Why hasn't this been flagged? I don't know. Daniel's response? Next budget cycle. She turned from the window. That's unacceptable. Get me a cost estimate for immediate repairs. I want this fixed by end of week. Yes, ma'am. And Ethan? Good work. This is exactly what I hired you to find. He left, feeling vindicated but uneasy. He'd just gone over Daniel's head, made his boss look bad. That wouldn't go unpunished. It didn't take long. Next morning, his workload had tripled. Daniel had assigned him to audit every route in the system thousands and provide optimization recommendations. Deadline, Friday, 3 days away. Impossible, deliberately impossible. Problem, Mr. Cole? Daniel appeared at his desk, coffee in hand. This timeline is tight, I know, but you're the efficiency expert, right? I'm sure you'll find a way. Or you can tell Claire you can't handle the workload. That's always an option. Translation, fail, and your trial ends early. Ethan spent that night at the office until 2 a.m., then again the next night, analyzing routes, building spreadsheets, running simulations, eyes burning, back aching. Coffee his primary food group, Nora called at 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Dad, when are you coming home? Soon, sweetheart. You said that yesterday. Guilt twisted in his chest. I know, this week is just busy. I know. I made mac and cheese, 8 years old, making her own dinner. Because her dad was too busy proving himself. I'm proud of you. You're so strong, Nora. Just a few more days, okay? Okay, love you, Dad. Love you too. He hung up and stared at his screen. Numbers blurred, routes tangled like spaghetti. Hidden in northern routes. A pattern. Certain shipments consistently routed through a specific depot, even though it added hours. The routing algorithm should have optimized around it, but someone had manually overridden the system, again and again. Ethan pulled the depot's records. Owned by Mercer Logistics, a subsidiary. Daniel Mercer's subsidiary. Every shipment through that depot generated fees, storage, handling, fuel surcharges. All paid to Mercer Logistics. All from Frostline's bottom line. Elegant, almost invisible. Unless you were looking at the whole system. Ethan calculated the loss. Over 5 years, nearly $3 million. Daniel wasn't just incompetent, he was stealing from his own company. Ethan sat back, mind racing. This was fraud, and he'd just stumbled into the middle of it. The storm breaks. The blizzard hit Thursday night. Meteorologists had tracked it for days, a massive system from Canada, bringing wind, snow, and brutal temperatures, the kind that shut down highways and stranded travelers. Frostline had 42 trucks on the road when it hit. Ethan was still at the office, finishing his audit, when alerts started coming in. Drivers calling, roads closing, trucks stuck. One jackknifed on I-90. The operations floor erupted into controlled chaos. Daniel was in the command center, a glass-walled room at the floor's center. Screens showed truck locations, weather radar, road conditions. He was barking orders, coordinating, trying to get drivers to safety, but the weather data they were using was wrong. The same outdated system Ethan had flagged. Regions showing clear skies were actually in whiteout conditions. Drivers were being routed into the storm, not around it. Ethan pushed into the command center. "You're using bad data." Daniel spun. "Get out. This is a crisis. Look at the radar. That shows clear conditions north of Minneapolis. But the National Weather Service has it at 0 visibility. Your system is pulling from dead stations." A dispatcher looked up. "He's right. I just got a call from driver 23. Conditions are way worse than what we're showing." Daniel's face went red. "We don't have time. Make time." Ethan was already at a terminal, pulling up the NWS feed. "Every truck north of Wisconsin needs to shelter immediately. The storm is twice as bad as your system thinks. You don't have authority. Then get someone who does." Ethan turned to the dispatcher. "Call Claire." Now. Claire arrived 10 minutes later, snow in her hair. "What's happening?" Ethan showed her. The broken weather system, trucks heading into danger, real-time NWS data showing conditions 3 times worse than what Frostline's system displayed. "How long has the system been wrong?" she asked quietly. 8 months. She turned to Daniel. 8 months? "We've been managing fine." "Fine. We have drivers in blizzard conditions because your system told them the weather was clear." "That's not fine, Daniel. That's negligent. With respect, this isn't the time. You're right. It's time to fix it." Claire turned to Ethan. "What do you need?" "Access to routing controls. Permission to override current assignments." "Done." She looked at the dispatchers. "You report to Mr. Cole until further notice. Daniel, step aside. Claire, you can't, I can, and I am. Right now, saving our drivers is more important than your ego. We'll discuss the rest later." Ethan took Daniel's seat, pulled up the routing system, started issuing orders. "All northern routes, immediate shelter. Find the nearest depot, truck stop, anywhere safe. Do not continue." "What about deadlines?" a dispatcher asked. "Deadlines don't matter if drivers die," Claire said flatly. "Do what he says." For 6 hours, Ethan orchestrated the largest emergency rerouting in Frostline's history. Using real-time weather data, he guided trucks to safety. Coordinated with depot managers, arranged hotel rooms for stranded drivers. By 2 a.m., every driver was accounted for. Safe. Some deliveries would be late, some clients angry, but no one was hurt. Claire stood beside him, watching the last truck pull into a depot. "You just saved this company millions in lawsuits, not to mention lives." "Just doing my job?" "No. You did Daniel's job, the job he failed to do for 8 months. There's something else, something you need to see." He showed her the routing fraud, the depot kickbacks, everything. Claire's expression went cold. Boardroom, justice. The emergency board meeting was called for Friday morning. 8 a.m. sharp. 7 board members along one side. Claire at the head, Ethan and Daniel on opposite sides. Claire opened. "We're here to address serious concerns about our operations division. Specifically, systematic negligence and potential fraud." Daniel spoke first. Calm. Confident. "I've served this company 20 years. My record speaks for itself." "Yes, the weather system needed updates. I had it scheduled. Mr. Cole's interference last night, while well-intentioned, undermined protocols and cost us significant revenue in missed deliveries." "What about the routing irregularities?" Claire asked. "Optimization decisions. Sometimes the most direct route isn't the most efficient. Using regional depots is standard practice. Even when that depot is owned by your private company." Pause. There's no conflict of interest. The fees are competitive. Market rate. Mr. Cole, please present your findings. Ethan stood, pulled up his presentation, charts, data, route comparisons. Over the past 5 years, approximately 30% of northern route shipments were manually rerouted through Mercer Logistics Depot. These routes added an average of 4 hours. The fees totaled $2.8 million. Next slide. I ran the same routes through our optimization algorithm without manual overrides. Direct delivery would have cost $600,000, meaning we paid $2.2 million extra to use Mr. Mercer's depot, which generated $2.2 million in revenue for Mercer Logistics. Board members leaned forward. That's not fraud, Daniel said, voice losing confidence. That's business judgment. It's a kickback scheme, Ethan said quietly. You forced company resources through your private business and profited. Textbook conflict of interest. This is absurd. Claire, he's been here 3 weeks, long enough to find what you were hiding. Did you disclose your ownership of Mercer Logistics when these routing changes were implemented? Silence. I asked you a question, Daniel. It wasn't required. Yes, it was. Your employment contract specifically prohibits financial relationships, creating conflicts without board approval. Did any of you approve this? Heads shook. Then we have a problem. A serious one. Daniel stood. I've given this company everything, 20 years, and you're going to believe some trial hire who got lucky saving you from a truck. I believe the data, the routing logs, the financial records. And yes, I believe Mr. Cole, because unlike you, he had nothing to gain by exposing this. In fact, going over your head probably cost him any chance of a comfortable working relationship here. She stood. You put profit over safety. You let our weather system fail for 8 months while drivers risked their lives. You stole from this company through a scheme that required manual intervention on thousands of routes. How many hours did you spend moving shipments through your depot instead of fixing the systems you were paid to maintain? Claire, you're suspended, effective immediately, pending full audit and legal review. You'll receive notice of termination or reinstatement within 30 days. Security will escort you out. Daniel's face went white, then red. You'll regret this. Maybe, but I'll sleep better knowing our drivers are safe. Daniel looked at Ethan, hatred palpable in his eyes. Then he walked out, flanked by security. A board member, an older woman with silver hair, spoke. Miss Whitman, we'll need to find an interim VP of operations. Already have someone in mind. Claire looked at Ethan. He blinked. I'm not qualified? You found and fixed problems our VP missed for 8 months. You coordinated an emergency response that saved lives. You exposed fraud bleeding this company dry. I'd say you're more than qualified. It's a big job, interim. 3 months. Prove yourself. If it works, we make it permanent. If not, we part ways professionally, and you'll have excellent experience. Ethan thought about Nora. About stability. About the chance to build something. I accept. The silver-haired woman smiled. Welcome aboard, Mr. Cole. After the meeting, Claire walked Ethan to the elevator. You saved more than one life this winter. Just doing the right thing. Most people don't. That's what makes it extraordinary. Don't make me regret this. He shook her hand. I won't. The elevator doors opened. Ethan stepped inside. Warm again. 3 months later, spring arrived in Cedar Falls. Snow melted, trees budded, birds returned. The city emerged from winter like a bear from hibernation, shaking off cold and stretching toward sunshine. Ethan's position had been made permanent 2 weeks ago. Vice President of Operations, a title that still felt surreal. An office with windows, a salary that let him buy Nora new shoes without checking his bank account first. The weather system had been completely rebuilt. Real-time data, predictive routing. Integration with optimization algorithms. Winter efficiency up 23%. Accident rates down 18%. But the best part was simpler. Ethan left work at 5:30 now. Not every day, some fires still needed putting out, but most days. Enough to have dinner with Nora, help with homework, be a dad again instead of an absent ghost sending apologetic texts. Tonight, they were celebrating. Movie night, just the two of them. "Dad, look." Nora held up her report card. Straight A's. Pride radiated from her like warmth from a fire. "That's my girl." Ethan pulled her into a hug. She was getting bigger, growing up too fast, but for now, still small enough to wrap in his arms and hold tight. "You did good too," she said, muffled against his chest. "Yeah? Yeah. You saved that lady. You got the good job. You fixed the broken stuff. I'm proud of you." Something in Ethan's throat tightened. All the late nights, the stress, the fear, it had been worth it for this moment. For her, "I'm proud of you too." The apartment was warm now. Heating bill paid automatically. No more third notices. No more choosing between heat and food. Just stability. Safety. The kind of boring predictability that felt like luxury after months of chaos. Ethan's phone buzzed. An email from Claire. Subject, "Thank you." He opened it. "Ethan. 3 months ago, you made a split-second decision to save a stranger. You didn't know who I was. Didn't know it would lead to anything. You just did the right thing because that's who you are. Integrity is rare in business. It's rarer still in people. Thank you for bringing both to Frostline. Don't lose it. Claire." Ethan smiled, pocketed his phone, and turned his attention back to Nora. Outside, the last traces of snow were melting from sidewalks. Spring sunshine poured through windows. The apartment was filled with warmth and laughter and the smell of pizza. Winter was over. They'd survived it. More than survived, they'd found their way to something better. "What movie do you want to watch?" Ethan asked, reaching for the remote. Nora grinned, that wide, uninhibited smile that reminded him of her mother, of better times, of reasons to keep fighting. Something with a happy ending. Deal. He settled onto the couch, his daughter curled against his side like she used to when she was 3, when the world was simpler and he could still protect her from everything. He let himself breathe, really breathe, for the first time in months, maybe years. Sometimes doing the right thing cost everything. Sometimes it gave you everything back. Ethan closed his eyes, deeply and truly grateful for both moments. The snow had stopped falling, but this time that didn't mean the cold would return. It meant spring was finally here.